Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So today we are going to do Leetcode bi-weekly challenge first question. So here's let us first read this question, then about the constraint, and then finally the coding part for the same. So here you are given an integer array nums. We consider an array code if it is a permutation of array base n. Now what is base n? So base n they have defined that it is from 1 till n minus 1 and then n is required to be repeated 2 times. In other words, it is an array length n plus 1 which contains 1 to n minus 1 exactly once plus 2 occurrences of n. For example, base 1 is equal to 1, 1, base 3 is equal to 1, 2, and 3 is occurring 2 times. So basically, if it is of base 1, that is there would be array of length n plus 1 where n is basically equals to 1 and that n will be repeated 2 times. And then we are required to return true if given array is a good, otherwise return false. So here a permutation of integer represent an arrangement of these numbers. So basically, it could be arranged in any order. It is not required to be that it would be in sorted or something. So that's what they mean to say by this line. So now in the first example, which is being given, and before example, let us see the constraints. So constraint, as we can see, they are pretty much lower. That is, there would be only 100 elements, and nums of I can go at max till 200. So in that context, we can easily go ahead with n square solutions as well. So let us go ahead that how easily we can do this question. So first example is 213. So in this example, here we can see that three elements are there, right? So if three elements are there, so as per that, we should be having the elements up to 1 and 2 should be repeated 2 times and 3 shouldn't be there, but still here 3 is there. So that's why it is not a good array as per their definition. Then here we are having four elements. Four elements, that means that here uh, the n base n would be 3. That is the number of elements minus 1. So that's why here at max there are that max element should be 3 and it should occur 2 times, and that is the case which is here. So that's why we are returning true. Then in this case we are having two elements. So that simply means the base would be 1 and that should be repeated 2 times, and that's what is being here. That's why we are returning true. So now here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 elements are there. So in that context, the 5 should be repeated 2 times. But here, as we can see, here 4 is repeated 2 times and 5 is not at all occurring, right? So that's why we are returning false here. So basically, one more thing is there that whatever means the element should be always in this order, means it should be in between this range, means 1 to n minus 1 to n range. If the element is beyond the n, then also it is not a good array. That also each case we are required to handle in this question. So after seeing this question, we can easily check that we need to check that what is the occurrence of elements which are there. We need to keep a check that how many number of elements are there. If there is n elements, so basically we are required to check for the n minus 1 element which is occurring 2 times or not. So that is the thing which would be there. So in that context, in the context I have used map in which it will completely sort the elements and it will keep the count of the occurrences, and then I'm just checking that if at any point I is greater than n, then we are required to return false. Because the thing is, the range of the element should be between 1 to n. It shouldn't exceed the n. If it exceeds the n, and even say if there is a test case like this, means we are given 14, comma 2, comma 2. So here the thing is that here number of elements is 3. So in that context, 2 should be the one which should be repeated 2 times. It is repeating. But the thing is that we are having this element 14 which shouldn't be there. So that's why this should return false. So in that context, I've kept this check that at this moment only it will return false and exit out of this for loop even. And now, after all these conditions are fulfilled, then what we need to check is that we need to check that if I dot second is greater than 1 and that I dot first is equals to n minus 1. So in that context, we are required to return true. Else, after completing this for loop, it will automatically return false. So now one more thing is there. I guess we are also not required and means map. We can even do this by unordered map. Dirt. Okay. So in that context, if we run, one minute is there. I am the another. Okay, I'll check that part later. But for time being, when we are using this map, so in that context, the time complexity of this particular question would be n log n because the map would be sorting the same. So in that context, but if it would be unordered map form, so here because it is n and here also n, so in that context n log n. But if it is in unordered map, then one minute basically. Yeah, if we use unordered map, then also it will work. So we are not required to use map here. Unordered map would be sufficient enough to go ahead with the same unordered. Yeah. So in that context, our total time complexity will become order of n only, and the space complexity because we are using that unordered map. So that's why it will be order of n only. Okay. And this is for the space complexity. So this was all about this question. If there's still any doubt, you could comment that down. And yeah, this was all. Thank you.